Ken Holland is going Hollywood Frank. Some people just aren't wired for retirement.
Yeah, I think back to my last conversation with Ken Holland. I ran into him in December at the Board of Governors meeting, and he was working in NHL hockey ops, spending time in the situation room and assisting the hockey ops department with any of their queries or questions. And I said to him, "Hey, like, how are things going? Could you foresee yourself jumping back in?" And he said, "I'm not sure that I enjoy a stress-free existence." That's a direct quote. And that's someone who has been in the big chair for this year was the first season, the first time after 27 consecutive seasons, his name etched on the Stanley Cup 4 times, very, very close to becoming a fifth and the second, or I guess the first with a second team with the Edmonton Oilers getting to Game 7 in the Stanley Cup final last year. So an impeccable record, someone that has, certainly accomplished just about everything that you could, inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame, and someone that doesn't like sitting on the sidelines. So the LA Kings, after making the change, moving on from Rob Blake, set to announce in relatively short order here that Ken Holland is their next GM.
A couple of questions to get to in terms of the task at hand for Ken Holland, but looking ahead to this summer, Frank, they got $23 million in cap space. They got a couple of free agents they need to take care of, but any sort of idea that this was going to be a Kings team that would maybe take a step back and say, okay, do we need to reassess how we're building? Do we need to retool? My feel is you don't hire Ken Holland if you're going to do that, right? You hire Ken Holland if you're trying to take that next step and become a Stanley Cup contender sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and just a reminder with Ken Holland, as you would know from Edmonton, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen in year one that he's at the helm. It's going to be a build that's going to take probably a little bit of time to add and continue to accumulate some pieces. But you're right. I don't think this is a situation where, hey, they're going to be trying to tear it down or go in the rebuild direction. Again, they already did that. They got Quentin Byfield and Brant Clark and Spence and that group of players that are from that era. They missed on a lot of draft picks, to be honest, which is part of the reason why the Kings are where they are. But look, there's still important decisions to be made. I think Andrei Kuzmenko is a really interesting one, a guy that really came in and fit that power play. And then, Tyler, of course, the next question is, who's going to be your head coach? Is it going to be Jim Hiller? Are you going to retain him? Or does Ken Holland look to bring in someone that is more familiar? Because that's also been one of the MOs of his career, is that he brings in someone that he has a connection to from somewhere.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Obviously, the Hiller decision. How would you handicap it right now? Do you have a feel on maybe what direction they'll go?
I would guess that they're going to be changing coaches. I just think even for this core of players to come back after some of the decision making in the first round and the style, the way that they played, I think that there's some tough things for Jim Hiller to overcome. And not only that, but a new GM just makes it kind of a seamless transition, the GM bringing in his own guy.
Yeah, and again, it's also one of those things, not Walking Dead or whatever, but when it is a coach from an old regime, it's just always that lingering storyline. As soon as there's any amount of struggles or the team goes on a losing streak, it's like, oh, well, he's not his guy. He's not his guy. So I think it's smart for teams to just kind of nip that in the bud real quick. Do you think, again, the $23 million, like let's say they bring back Gavrikov for whatever, even if you bring back Kuzmenko, like they have room if they want to go make a big splash on the free agent front. Do you think we'll see a summer where Ken Holland wants to put his stamp on things quick and spend a lot of money? Or do you think, again, it'll be more of a feel it out in year one and then maybe get more aggressive down the line?
I think it's probably going to be a blend of both. I think you're probably going to see some aggression. You're going to see a team that wants to take a step forward, but you're also going to see a team that wants to try and do it in a measured way. If you have cap space, I think Ken Holland had just operated in an environment in Edmonton where obviously in a flat cap world, money was very difficult to come by, and it made that decision-making process very difficult in season and limited some options. You can always get around it, but I think now having the benefit of some foresight would probably be really beneficial to take your time and do it right.
The L.A Kings trying to finally get over the mountain that is the Edmonton Oilers and the first round of the playoffs. So they hired the guy who built those Oilers teams. And I love in our chat, Frank, everyone's making the connection. Do you just do the Thanos thing and you get Jay Woodcroft and you assemble a super team of ex-Oilers employees who could take down Edmonton?
Hey, you've already got Warren Fogle. I mean, that's a good starting point.
What's up, hockey fans? If you enjoyed that video, then you need to be hitting the subscribe button right here at Daily Faceoff. Exclusive interviews and analysis from our hockey insider Frank Seravalli, fantasy updates from Brock Sagan, and a daily live show at noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the fantastic content, so hit that subscribe button.